So Microsoft recently released updates to patch 79 vulnerabilities in their September 2024 updates, including 7 critical flaws in components like Windows, Office, and SharePoint. Some of these are actually even zero-day threats, which means that hackers are actually exploiting them right now. I'm Brian Longworth, host of a Faster PC Live technical support. I've been solving computer, technical, and cybersecurity problems for over 26 years and have been hosting this show for over 24 years, answering your computer, technical, cybersecurity, and streaming questions. So we're going to discuss these threats and also show you steps that you can take to make sure that your computer and your computer systems are protected. So Microsoft did release these patches, the 7 critical patches, or the 7 critical threats, including zero-day threats. Now, what these do is that there's a Windows installer elevation of privilege vulnerability. So what happens if your computer is configured properly for cybersecurity, your username actually doesn't have the rights to install programs. But hackers need rights to install programs, to install their hacking tools. So if they get into your system and don't have these rights, they're going to try to elevate those privileges. And of course, if your computer isn't configured this way, it won't matter to you because you don't have that protection anyway. But if you do have that protection, then what happens is the hackers are trying to elevate that right. And so this particular threat actually would allow them to elevate that right to be able to install their malware. There's another threat that actually is a security bypass vulnerability, and the Microsoft Publisher with a CVSS rating of 7.3 that allows a hacker to bypass Office macros that protect users against untrusted and malicious files. There's another error out there that is the Windows mark of the web security feature bypass flaw that blocks harmful files and content downloaded from the internet. So in other words, it's able to bypass that block. The threat actors could exploit this flaw by convincing the victim to download and open a malicious file to evade MOTW protection in Windows. There's another zero-day Windows update remote code execution vulnerability that affects PCs running Windows 10 version 1507. Microsoft, by the way, if you're still running 1507, come and talk to us because we can actually get your computer protected. You need to be running a newer version than that. But Microsoft dropped support of this version actually in May of 2017, but they are continuing to provide limited support for this, including this patch that they have addressed a security issue in this version of Windows. There's also 2 critical SharePoint server flaws that could enable hackers with site member and site owner permissions to execute code remotely. So you need to actually make sure that you're getting out there and installing these updates. So there are some additional features that aren't security related that allow you to share information from your computer and your Android device, as well as new APIs that allow third-party developers to create new widget feeds in the European Union. Microsoft is also patching other bugs that are maybe not related to security but do cause problems in the computer. So it's important to get out there and install these updates. Now, how do you actually install these updates? So I'm going to switch over to a full screen. I'll actually show you how you can install these Windows updates. So we're going to click Start, the Start button. That looks like a 4-pane window. In Windows 11, it's closer to the middle on the left side. and depending on how many programs you have open, it'll be again closer to the window, but as you open up programs, it'll move to the left. In Windows 10, it is all the way on the left. You can, by the way, make it all the way on the left in Windows 11 as well. But you're going to click on that and look for a gear that represents the settings, or some people call it a cog. I have mine moved into Utilities. I'm going to click here. Now, I've already installed my Windows updates, so nothing is going to show up here. But if I hadn't yet installed Windows updates, then what would happen is when I go into settings, I'm going to first, once I get into settings, I'm going to click on Windows updates. And what's going to happen is I'll have an option to click check for updates. So this is going to search for updates. Again, it's not going to find any updates because I've installed them already. But had I not installed them, they would be here ready to install. And one of the things that we do want to encourage you to do is to check these on a regular basis. Microsoft always releases their Windows updates the second Tuesday of each month. It's not always available on that Tuesday for you. It might be the Wednesday, the day after, or the day after that. So the Wednesday or Thursday after the second Tuesday. Somewhere in that range, you should be getting these Windows updates and installing them in your computer. And it's important to go ahead and get those updated, get them installed, make sure that your computer is protected. So again, 79 flaws that are many of them, most of them security, and 7 critical security flaws, including zero-day threats that are currently being used by hackers. Make sure you get out there and get these updates installed. Now, I can tell you that a faster PC does provide managed services. We provide this for businesses, for nonprofits, for doctors' offices, medical offices, dental offices. We provide it for accountants' offices, and attorneys' offices, professional offices. We provide this for home offices and even for consumers. And with this managed services, one of the things, in addition to providing remote support, in-shop labor, even on-site support for some customers that want that, we actually also, in addition to that, we actually do provide additional help where we actually provide patch management. And with the patch management, twice a day we're looking for Windows updates. 6 times a day we're looking for updates to programs such as Google Chrome and Firefox, both of which have had multiple zero-day threats this year. We're also looking to update programs like Zoom and Adobe Reader, which also has a zero-day threat out right now. If you haven't watched our video on that, make sure you watch our video on how to update and protect your computer against the zero-day threat for Adobe Reader as well. One of the things that we do want to encourage you to do is to make sure that you're updating these. So also, every hour, we're actually looking for updates to the Windows security definitions to make sure you always have the latest Windows security updates. So if you don't want to have to worry about whether your computer's updated, you just want your computer to be updated, make sure you give us a call, 772-878-5978, 772-878-5978, and we can help you. Watch our video on how to protect your computer from the Adobe Reader zero-day threat right here. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button, click subscribe, and click the bell so that you can be notified when we release new videos. And remember, when you have cybersecurity problems, you need a faster PC.